Most men fail with women because they react to something that is not real. And the worst part is, you have probably done this without realizing it. You walk into a room and instantly you feel her presence before anything. She glances at you for 1 second, then looks away like nothing happened. But somehow, in that tiny moment, something inside you already shifts. You straighten your posture, adjust your tone, and choose your words carefully. Without noticing, you start performing in a way you never planned before, because deep down, it feels like she is already above you somehow, and now you are trying to close a gap that was never even real. Every sentence you say becomes slightly filtered, slightly less like yourself. You think you are being confident, but you are actually reacting to pressure, and the more you try to impress her, the more that pressure grows. It feels invisible, but it controls the entire interaction from the start. And right there is where most men lose the game before it begins. Because what you are reacting to is not her, it is her perceived status. And the moment you accept that frame, everything starts working against you. But what if I told you that feeling was engineered, not natural at all? And once you see through it, the entire dynamic begins to collapse. Here is the truth no one tells you about female psychology and attraction. You were never rejected. You were reacting wrong to invisible emotional triggers. Most men lose attraction not because of looks, but because of behavior. And that behavior comes from pressure they do not even understand yet. You think she judged you, but you already judged yourself first inside. That subtle shift is what kills attraction before it even has time. And once that happens, everything you say starts working against your favor. But this is where everything changes if you stay with me carefully. By the end of this, you will see the pattern clearly. You will understand how attraction works beneath the surface, not above it. And more importantly, you will stop reacting in ways that destroy your position. Because once you see what is actually happening, you cannot unsee it anymore. Everything you think about confidence in women is completely backwards today. That confident energy you see is often built on repeated external validation. From a young age, she receives attention across social media and real life. Likes, comments, approaches, constant signals telling her she is highly desired. Over time, that repetition creates a powerful internal narrative about her value, not because she proved it, but because she saw the same reactions repeatedly. And slowly, without noticing, that narrative becomes her default way of thinking. She starts expecting attention, expecting validation, expecting men to perform around her. But here's the part most men completely misunderstand about attraction psychology. That confidence you see is not always grounded in real internal certainty. It is often supported by external reactions that can change at any moment, which means underneath that surface, there's something far less stable. Because when value depends on attention, it must constantly be maintained. And that creates a hidden layer of pressure most people never talk about. So what looks like power on the outside is not always true power. And once you understand that shift, you start seeing everything differently. Because now you are not reacting to appearances, you are reading the system behind them. The biggest mistake men make is thinking her ego equals real confidence. What you are seeing is often a shield, not a stable source of power. And this is where most dating advice completely fails modern men today, because it teaches you to fight something that was never real. Here is the rule you need to remember for the rest of life. Her ego is not strength. It is protection built from repeated attention patterns. And once you see it clearly, the entire interaction changes immediately. Because now you stop reacting to the performance and start seeing reality. Think about it like this. Every reaction she gives you is part of a role shaped by years of similar interactions with men chasing validation, which means most behaviors you see are not even about you directly. They are automatic patterns triggered by familiar social and dating dynamics. And the moment you understand this, something powerful begins to happen. You stop taking things personally and you stop trying to prove yourself. Because now you are not facing her ego, you are seeing through it. And when you stop engaging with the illusion, it slowly loses its effect. Which leads to a shift most men never experience in real interactions. Because instead of chasing approval, you start controlling your own frame. The real reason you keep losing attraction is not what you think. It is not her attitude, not her ego, not even her level. It is how you react in those small moments that feel insignificant. Because every reaction you give quietly tells her where you stand. When you explain yourself, you lower your perceived value instantly. When you try to impress, you accept her position above you unconsciously. And when you react emotionally, you give away control without noticing it. So the problem was never her behavior in the first place. It was the meaning you assigned to it inside your own mind. And that meaning shaped every move you made after that moment, which is exactly why most men repeat the same outcome again. But once you see this clearly, your entire approach begins to change. The fastest way she tests your confidence is through direct, subtle insults. And most men fail this test before they even realize it happened. She might look at you and say something slightly dismissive or critical. Maybe it is your style, your voice, or something small about you. But that one sentence is never random in real attraction dynamics. It is designed to see how you react under unexpected social pressure. Because in that moment, your reaction reveals everything: your internal state. Most men immediately try to defend themselves and justify their identity. Others react emotionally and try to fire back with another insult. But both reactions signal the same thing. You took it seriously inside. And the moment you take it seriously, you lose control of the frame, because now you are responding to her words as if they matter. But here is the shift that changes everything in this exact moment. Instead of defending or attacking, you agree and exaggerate playfully. You take what she said and push it so far it becomes absurd. And suddenly, the tension breaks, because you never treated it as real, which makes her realize she cannot affect you the way she expected. Most men do not even realize when she places herself above them. Because this test is subtle and happens in everyday dating conversations, she says things like she is very picky or easily bored quickly. And without noticing, you start trying harder to prove your value. That moment right there is where attraction silently begins to collapse. Because you accepted her position as the judge without questioning it. Now you are performing and she is watching, which flips the entire dynamic. But here is what changes everything if you understand this deeply. Those statements are not facts. They are signals of perceived status. And they only work if you treat them like they matter. So instead of reacting, you treat them like irrelevant background noise. She says she is picky, you acknowledge it and calmly move forward. No extra energy, no attempt to impress, no need to validate anything. And that response does something most men never experience in real time. It removes the invisible hierarchy that she just tried to create. Because now you are not below her, you are simply on your own level. And when you refuse to compete for attention, the frame starts shifting naturally. Silence is the moment most men lose control without even realizing it. Because when she gives short answers, your mind starts creating pressure instantly. You hear one-word replies, and suddenly you feel responsible for everything. So you ask more questions, try harder, and fill every empty space. But each question you ask slowly lowers your perceived value in her eyes. Because now you are chasing her attention instead of holding your own presence. And this is exactly what she has seen from almost every man before, which means your behavior is predictable and easy to control unconsciously. But here's the part that completely flips the dynamic in seconds. The wall was never about you. It was her default response pattern. She gives it to everyone until someone reacts differently under pressure. So instead of chasing, you stop asking and start expressing your own world. You talk because you want to, not because you need her validation. You share something real, something that does not depend on her response. And in that moment, something unusual happens that shifts everything. She starts listening, not because you forced it, but because you did not need it. The most dangerous moment is when she asks what sounds like a normal question, because this is where most men walk directly into a psychological trap. She might ask if you say this to every girl you meet, or how many women you talk to before approaching her tonight. And it feels harmless, like casual curiosity during a normal conversation. But in reality, every answer you give puts you into a losing position. If you say no, she assumes you are lying to gain approval. If you say yes, she labels you as a player instantly. And if you hesitate, you appear uncertain, which lowers attraction immediately. So the trap is not about the question, it is about your reaction. Because the moment you try to answer, you accept the frame she created. And now she is evaluating you while you are trying to explain yourself. But here is where everything changes if you see it clearly. You do not answer the question, you shift the frame completely. You respond by pointing out the situation instead of explaining your position. You say something like you are moving too fast, we just started talking. And suddenly, you are no longer inside the box she created. You are standing outside it, observing instead of being judged. And that is the moment the power dynamic shifts in your favor. The moment you stop reacting is the moment everything starts shifting naturally. Because now you are no longer trying to impress, you are simply present. And that presence creates a different kind of attraction most men never reach. She notices the change, even if she cannot explain it logically herself. Her tone softens, her responses become longer, her attention starts increasing. Not because you chased it, but because you stopped needing it entirely. And that is what creates real attraction in modern dating psychology. You are no longer reacting to her behavior, you are creating your own frame, which forces her to step into your reality instead of controlling it. And for the first time, the interaction feels balanced instead of one-sided. Because now she is no longer performing above you, she is engaging with you. And that shift is subtle, but it changes everything about the outcome. Which leads to a realization that most men never truly understand. The shocking truth is you were never competing with her ego at all. You were competing with your own reactions and losing every single time. Because everything you felt was created inside your own perception first. Her ego did not control you, your interpretation of it controlled everything. And once you remove that interpretation, the entire dynamic collapses instantly. Now you are not trying to win her approval or validation anymore. You are simply observing, choosing, and deciding if she fits your world. Which flips the entire dating dynamic in a way most men never experience. Because now she is not the prize you are chasing for validation. She is just another person standing in front of you, nothing more. And the moment that shift happens inside you, something unexpected follows. She starts investing. She starts reacting. She starts trying to understand you. Because you are no longer playing the game that everyone else keeps playing. And that is why this changes everything once you truly see it clearly.